Hello everyone, and welcome to another Kev Play. This is Kevin, and this is very loud. Audio's better, right? Sorry it took so long. I had to install it again on my PS4. And of course that took forever. This is episode 1 of Spyro the Dragon. From the Spyro Reignited Trilogy.
Okay, rolling.
It's been peaceful here in the Five Worlds, or is it 6? For a dragon's age, we now have 12,000 treasure, or is it 14,000?
What about this Ganasty Ganok character? Now, I understand he's found a magic spell to turn gems into warriors for his cause.
I'll take that question. Nasty Nork is a simple creature.
Simple?
He has been contained in a remote world and is no threat to the Dragon Kingdom.
No threat?
Besides, he is ugly.
Ugly? That does it!
Huh? Looks like I've got some things to do.
Yeah, well, originally I had it already installed for PS5. I thought there wasn't going to be any problems. First thing I'm going to do is just set my sound to... First of all, I like the original music. Even though it's Stuart Copeland who did the kind of like the remastered music, I prefer his original. Right? Did I do that? Yeah, the original. And the volume, I'll put it on 7 for each, just so it's not too overbearing. Yeah, I don't know why there was a problem either, because I was checking my... so for people who don't know, I was trying to stream this on PS5, and my mic wasn't coming through, and it's plugged in. Everything's good on the mic. Everything, and I checked my settings. I double checked and triple checked my settings before I even started my broadcast. So I don't know what like my input and output were all correct. Like everything was good. So I don't understand what was happening with that. Maybe my mic, because I use the Samson Meteor mic. Maybe I know the PS5 recognized it. But maybe it just doesn't, there's something that doesn't work well with that hardware or something. I have no idea. But you know what, there was kind of like pros and cons to the PS5 broadcast that I was noticing. You know, one being that I like with the PS4 is that in my top left I could see what my elapsed time is. I could see like when I'm going a little, like, because I like to keep it to an hour usually, like, you know how I'm very orderly like that. Also, I like that my chat is displayed on the right, and that I can see it, and it doesn't go away. Like, because on PS5, it's like a MTV like video bubbles or whatever that would, and it just shows like a text for like 2 seconds, and it goes away, and it's like I can miss it. So I think that's kind of. It's almost like they designed it for more popular streamers where they're not going to be able to catch all the text anyway, so I don't really think it's... I feel like it's not as user-friendly for someone like me who's, you know, doesn't have this huge subscriber base, or, you know, there's not a lot of people coming to the chat at once, but yeah, I don't know. And the pros to PS5 was the load times would have been better. I think it ran at a better resolution, at least like the broadcast stream, but I think this is fine. Alright, so let me give my little introduction. Spyro the Dragon came out in 1998 by Insomniac Games, best known for Spider-Man and Ratchet and Clank and Resistance. After Spyro 3, they lost the... Well, they sold the IP because they wanted to detach themselves from Universal Interactive. And then after that, like for the PS2, there was Enter the Dragonfly and A Hero's Tale, and those games weren't really that great. And then there's the Legend of Spyro series, which I heard is a good... Like, I haven't played them. I heard they're good for, like, if you start with those. Like, the games play well, but I've never played those either. And really, Spyro kind of just went away after that. Just the same way Crash Bandicoot did for a long time. Because of how mishandled, like, the franchise was. But then 2018, the Reignited Trilogy came out by Toys for Bob. And here we are. Absolutely.
Thank you for releasing me, Spyro. Free 10 dragons in the Artisan world, then find the balloonist. He'll transport you to the next world.
What about Nasty Nork? I'm going after him.
Find dragons first. That's all I can tell you.
We have Tom Kenny. Oh yeah, there's also the Skylanders series, which is something I just never got into. I'm sure a lot of people like Skylanders. I know a lot of kids liked it, but they weren't being introduced to the correct Spyro. Tom Kenny's reprising his voice as Spyro. The original Spyro had, I think it's Carlos Baeza, and he did the voice of Rocco from Rocco's Modern Life. I actually when I played the old Spyro on PS1, I do prefer Carlos's voice for the first game because it's kind of a more nasally, kind of it's almost like a younger Spyro, and I always believed that like when they switched to Tom Kenny that like some time passed between Spyro 1 and Spyro 2, and that's why he sounds a little older. So I guess you can take some things you gotta take or leave. I would have preferred if they had Carlos reprise his role for the first game and then had Tom Kenny do the 2 and 3. But as long as they were able to get one of the original voice actors, I can't really complain. Especially since it was 20 years later. Delbin.
Where's Nasty Nork? I'll torch him.
Keep your horns on, Spyro. You have much to learn first. Do you know what the dragonfly following you is doing?
His
name is Sparks, and he's helping and protecting you. Keep an eye on him and see what I mean.
This game came out the same year Crash Bandicoot Warped did. It was a really good year for PS1. It's weird. I think I basically knew about Spyro in 1998 through commercials, or maybe one of my friends had it, but I'm pretty sure it was the commercials because I remember they had a very strong marketing campaign where it was like live action and there was like sheep roaming around and someone was killing like livestock and crops were being burned, and like there was a whole like ad campaign of like who's doing this, and basically it was Spyro, and he had kind of an edge to him and a little skip to his step, I guess, and I guess I gravitated towards it, and it looked like a fun platformer for the time, and plus it was more open world compared to Crash Bandicoot's linear path, so that was always a draw. What I usually do in my Spyro playthroughs, I haven't played this since 2018. This version since 2018. I haven't played the original versions in a long time, but Usually what I do is I go through I get all the gems in the homeworld first, at least as much as I can get. Because I know, like, in Spyro 2, they're gonna make you do, like, backtracking and stuff. There's our Norks. Look at this beautiful, waterway we have here. Alright. Marco the Balloonist.
Prove your worth by rescuing 10 dragons.
Yes.
Then you may use this balloon to fly to a new world.
They didn't have voice dialogue in the original Spyro for the Balloonist, so it's cool that they added that. Got this game in 2018. I didn't even beat Spyro 2 yet. Really? Honestly, I find Spyro 2 to be my favorite in terms of a game as a whole. I think Spyro 1 I like the most in terms of atmosphere. I think the soundtrack from Stuart Copeland, the drummer from The Police, aka, I think he did a really great job with his first game. It has a more exploration-driven, curiosity-driven tone. Very child-friendly, but very atmospheric. I love what he does with the soundtrack, but Spyro 2, in terms of it being more about talking to the townsfolk more and kind of exploring, kind of having like mini games and stuff, it gave the game a lot more life, I think. But I still think this is great. Spyro 1 is definitely much better as a first installment than Crash Bandicoot 1 is, I think. It's much more polished, much more established of what it wants to be. I definitely recommend it. I think Spyro 2 is like one of my favorite PS1 games of all time. And Spyro 3 is great too, but I just have a fondness for Spyro 2 because I kind of grew up with it more. Spyro 3, I kind of picked it up later on. Because you have to remember, back in the day, when I was like 8, 9, 10, I didn't have a job, so like I couldn't just like buy these games at will. Rescued Tomas.
Hey, Spyro! Press the jump button twice to glide. And don't be afraid.
Afraid? Of what?
Falling from high mountain peaks? Plummeting into prehistoric glaciers?
Oh, that.
I'll come back here. I think I want to go over here for a sec. Now, I was mentioning it in my test stream was that the gems in this game, compared to the PS1 game, are a little harder to find in the grass because the original game's like grass was just like a flat texture, flat green texture. It wasn't all this like lush and filled with flowers all over the place. I mean, there were flowers, but it like the gems still managed to stand out more. So if I play through this, I end up missing a gem. It's probably because they're a little harder to see now. But they still pop. But it's just compared to the original, they're not as much. I still have to get used to the camera a bit. I think I need to have it on. Okay, active. In the original game, the camera is set to passive by default, and it's always my number one rule as soon as I start playing is I have to change it to active. It basically makes the camera snap to the direction you're moving more, instead of kind of just floating around. Argus.
Cool flash. Do that again.
The artisan's boss is through a portal in the dragon mouth. But you're not yet ready, Spyro. First, you must complete one of the other artisan lands.
All right. Did I come through here yet? Hedgemates? This is our 1-up. These 1-ups are the only time you'll see these in the trilogy. They get rid of the, there's a different way to get lives in Spyro 2 and 3, but this is basically how you do it in 1. Are you gonna give the Legend games a shot? Well, first of all, in order for me to give it a shot, I would have to be able to stream it, and basically, I'm only really able to play anything that's on PS4 or PS5. So I don't think they are on PS4, right? I think they were like PS3 games or PS2 games. That's kind of the shortcoming of how I stream, is that I don't have like a capture card or anything. I'm basically dependent on PS4 and PS5. You don't have to stream. Oh, in terms of just picking it up? I don't know. It's very hard because I grew up with this rendition of Spyro. It's not that I can't wrap my mind around a different version of him, but I know those games are praised for how that the gameplay is still very solid. It's not as glitchy. It's not like nearly as glitchy or just unfinished as like Enter the Dragonfly or what's it called? Hero's Tale. Now, when you beat Spyro 1, did you complete it 100%? I don't know if you said that or not. Because this will be a 100% run, by the way. Oh, nice. Yeah, these games are just so much fun as a collectathon, just the full experience really is trying to get it 100%. Because it's not really like it can be difficult at times. The Spyro 2 definitely has a difficulty spike in some parts, but it's all manageable. Trust me, if you can get through Crash 4, you'll definitely be able to get through any Spyro game. But the one thing I just realized, and there's our 100%. The one thing I realized about this whirlwind is, in the original game, when you go through it, you're able to breathe fire. But this, like, it kind of puts him into a little animation, so he can't really... It kind of locks you from the ability to use the flame ability. Which is kind of like... It's little things like that, where if you go back to the original game, there are little nuances that are still... better in the original games, and that goes for Crash Team Racing or any of the Crash games as well. Of course I beat Spyro. Yeah, I wouldn't have doubted it. Now hopefully these loading screens aren't too bad. I do like that they allow you to control Spyro. The original game did not let you do that, so that's something that this game has over that. And I can use my flame, so that's cool. It's not that bad. Honestly, I think CTR might load longer than that. So this level, it's not usually the first level I play, but it's the first level that whenever I play this game, that I realize, oh, this is a world I'm about to embark on. It being town square, like there's kind of a mythology to this homeworld than just being random locations. I like how this the dragon we're about to free kind of presents town square to us as if it's like a very popular place in the Dragon Kingdom.
Welcome to Town Square, Spyro. Begin exploring by gliding to that area with the bulls. Use the right stick to get a good look.
And you have to remember too, when you play this, when I played this back in 1998, when you're a kid, you have such a sense of imagination, and when there's a cartoon open world-ish type universe like this that's presenting itself to you, it's really, really exciting. And back when you're a kid, you kind of have this like sense of like, you don't have like the knowledge of how to like the behind-the-scenes work of video games. You don't have like developer knowledge or like how how games are created. So for me, this was like limitless. Like I was like, oh wow, I'm in town square. I can go anywhere I want. I'm gonna hit the town. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's something that I remember as a kid that I feel like I don't really appreciate nowadays with games, because I just know how games work more. But I still have nostalgia for the way this game captured my imagination. So there's that. Crash Bandicoot 2 had that too. Even though they were linear paths, there was always a sense of like there was all these secret gem paths and secret ways to go that you can like. There's something unexplored in the game that you probably never knew or whatever. Like, and plus the internet wasn't really as connected as it is today. So you didn't have like you had guides. Not that I relied on guides, but there was just a sense that you were exploring this for the first time. Like you were a pioneer entering this world, and that other people didn't already master the game like they probably did. Because every game that you think you're the you're like the expert on, there's like always going to be 100, maybe 1,000 more people in the world that probably have you beat. Yeah, when this game came out, I was 8 years old. So I definitely had it definitely was very mind blowing. And the graphics were like this. Like, what the graphics look like now was how it looked like for me when I was a kid. Like, it was groundbreaking. Not that this is groundbreaking, per se, but it's very polished, very high fidelity and all that now. But when you played this as a kid, compared to when you would just play 2D games and, there was Crash Bandicoot, but, like, this was, like, one of those games that just, like, it rivaled like Super Mario 64 and stuff like that. Those type of games all kind of broke this whole 3D space, basically.
Thanks, Spyro. I had the worst itch on the tip of my wing. Did you know that you get your longest glides by pressing the jump button at the very top of your jump?
And be prepared to have dragons explain the most basic stuff to you as you play, over and over and over. But I will play them anyway because I just love the sense of, because really the only people you're talking to in this game are the dragons and like the balloonists, compared to Spyro 2 and 3 where every world has its own character you can talk to and it's more expansive. Every time I free a dragon, it's a sense. It feels like I'm not alone in this world, in terms of the solidarity that this game could have. And these levels, I would spend hours in because it wasn't like It was harder as a kid to figure out how to get to secret areas more. These days, I'm definitely better at it when I play new games for the first time. But even though with Ratchet and Clank, I'm still having trouble finding some bolts. Oh god, I thought I had one of my powers from the sequel there. Oh. I guess I couldn't charge him. That's weird. That's when it's gonna get annoying, is when they start repeating "Thank you for releasing me." I think even in Spyro 3 they do it once just to like piss off the gamer, as kind of like a callback, because it becomes kind of like a meme.
Spyro, did you see a man dressed in blue running around here? He's a thief, and he's stolen a dragon egg. You've got to track him down and get that egg! Run! Run! I'm getting a little winded.
Yeah, Trouble with the Trolley is definitely one of the biggest, and you'll understand, like, I'm sure you've seen videos, but you're gonna understand when you play that game in Spyro 2, that minigame. It really is, honestly, it's not as bad as people say, but it definitely is gonna get annoying when you have to keep retrying or you have to hear that over and over. I'm just gonna see if I can, because the sound is still a little loud a bit. Maybe if I make it like I'll put on 6. Oh, I'm sure. Definitely. Alright, so here's our first area of this area that I just flew to in 1 second. It took me forever to figure out how to do it, because when you played this for the first time, you were really learning the controls at a slower pace than how we're kind of used to them now. And it was just, I was not expecting that I'd have to fly off screen and stuff like that. That's not like this game kind of teaches you to not be afraid to jump and kind of explore the what's the unseen, basically, and try to go around corners and stuff. I'm gonna collect these gems first. Hopefully. Oops, I already screwed up. Now, the performances of the dragons, by the way, I am kind of used to them in PS1. What's really great about the PS1 version is that just because, just because the animations were more basic than what they offer now, the voice performances were still very, very well done, and I still remember just the nuances of how they would perform each line. So when I free a dragon now, they always perform it a little differently. So I kind of have to separate my mind from what I'm nostalgic for and what and the good job that they're doing in this recreation, basically. If that makes sense. Let me go over here. Alright, all the gems. This should be all the dragons. Thor.
Thank you for releasing me, Spyro. You can always check your progress by accessing the guidebook through the pause menu.
Okay, so I think they actually added that extra sentence there of tutorial just so that it's not just a repeat. So it's definitely more annoying in Spyro 1 because I think in Spyro 1 all he said was "thank you for releasing me." Yeah, I hope they do that more with all the "thank you for releasing me" dragons, that they kind of just add a little, even if it's something that is a very basic tutorial that I didn't need to hear, as long as they just mix it up. It also helps that each dragon has a new animation. That guy was carrying a water jug, so at least there's something I can there's a variety that I can get used to with it. Oh, I had to chase this thief all the way around. I have to trigger him to get back. Oh, he's right down there. Let's see if I can get him. Yeah. Little drop down, smack down. Do you think Spyro 4 is still happening? Honestly, one of the reasons I'm playing this is the hope that like at the Game Awards or something, that there's going to be an announcement that Spyro 4 will be coming out in 2022 or something. Because it would be great if I'm playing this and then they announce Spyro 4 and then I can just be very excited while I'm playing this. I'll have a nice refresher before I get into Spyro 4. Alright, we're done with Town Square. Not bad. If they do Spyro 4, I hope they don't try to make it like... I hope they don't make it as hard as Crash 4, because I don't think Spyro is more difficulty focused as Crash Bandicoot is, even for the original games. Like, Crash Bandicoot was always an inherently more difficult, more challenging game. It's more about obstacles, and it's about collecting gems, but this is more of like a relaxed, you know, fun mini-game type game. Like when you get to the sequels and stuff, like Spyro 2 and 3, like the Spyro trilogy has challenged, but it was never really like about like, oh, let's make this the Dark Souls of you know, 3D platformers or something. Yeah, it's not going to be hard. I wouldn't mind them like making it challenging in spots, like very challenging, or maybe like making there more stuff to collect or whatever. But yeah, I just hope Spyro 4. What I hope for that game is for it to kind of innovate off what the original games were, and to be basically what Crash 4 tried to be, is like basically a successor to Crash 3. Alright, we'll go into Stonehill. This level here is usually the first level I usually play. This was like my introduction to Spyro, this first level here. And it's huge. From, like, I remember being so impressed as a kid with how like open this world is. This level is. It's pretty big for one of the first levels. Like, you wouldn't tell from looking at it, but like there's so much to explore. Like, that you can get up on this grass here. Like, there's so much to do. And it's so open. I just love how it's a big like arena basically, but like cut into sections basically. Yeah, Crash 4 is absolutely tough. And it's really because... It's mainly because of its... You know, those insane relics and the time trials can be pretty bad. Like, having to get Platinum being a requirement, whereas Platinum in Crash 3 was always kind of just bragging rights.
Watch the dragonfly, Spyro. His color indicates his power. When he eats butterflies, he stays strong. Like me.
Sure.
Alright, so we have a locked chest here with a key. We're gonna need to find a key. Crash 4 Platinum Relics is basically gold relics in... I mean, if you say so, but the thing is, with Crash 4 Time Trials is that the levels are longer, and the way you have to be faster is definitely something to get used to compared to Crash 3, where you were just running. And for me, that's just a hurdle that I need to kind of learn and overcome right now, because I haven't really touched the time trials that much, as I've said. I actually haven't played Crash 4 in a while, in a couple of weeks. I've been playing like Ratchet and Clank 3, but I'm still collecting gems in Crash 4 because I'm trying to do it without guides. And it's proving a little difficult in some spots, but yeah, the dev times. Well, the dev times are bragging rights also in and I did get all the platinum relics in Crash 3 back in the original game. But yeah, it was always just gold. Gold was required. Yeah, I'll get the dragon first. Lindar.
When you free a dragon or step on one of their platforms, you're saving your progress. That could be useful if you run into trouble. Not that you ever run into trouble, Spyro.
Yeah, and I'm doing pretty, like, I'm pretty impressed that I've gotten as much gems as I've gotten without guides, because I've gotten, I'm pretty sure, like, a little over 200 for both the inverted and the regular sets of gems. I just recently found the green gem, which was really tough to find, and I think that opens, now that I have all the color gems, it opens up toxic tunnels, and oh my god, that gem path, that series of gem paths is like torture. I did manage to get through it once, but I know I'm gonna have to do it again, like, especially for like the insane relics. I don't know how you were able to do that for insane relics. And there's nothing against using guides, but I just want to see how long I can do it before I kind of resort to it. And as you can see, I have a lot of patience because the game's been out for it came out late 2020, so it's been out for pretty much a year now. And I've still kind of like not given in yet. Because I figured when I heard the news that Activision folded Toys for Bob as kind of a support studio for Call of Duty, and you know, Vicarious Visions was kind of bought into like they kind of got put on the Blizzard team basically. I was basically like, oh man, I had to prepare for the fact that there might not be, for a while, there might not be any more installments from Crash. So I was like, you know what, let me try to milk Crash 4 for as much as I can and get, and kind of get like that sense of playtime with it and exploration, and kind of like think about it a lot more than just kind of being kind of like a one and done experience. Because I like to, I like the idea that I haven't completed it yet, and I can think about it and be like, hey, like, I wonder if I do this, or if I try this, maybe that will help me in my next playthrough, or something like that. Took me 50 minutes to get the Toxic Tunnels and Insane Relic. Yeah, it's just, it's bad. I mean, it's not bad, it's very well designed, but it's very tough. The camera for Spyro right now, even though it's on active, and I'm using my like right thumbstick to kind of turn the camera, I'm using my directional pad to move. It's a little bit more weirder than I remembered, but it's not bad. It's just something I have to get used to, because I don't remember the original game being as floaty. Like the camera being as floaty with because usually what you're supposed to do is, and this is something I don't like compared to the original game, is that when you press triangle, it snaps you to the direction you're looking. So I'll press triangle, but it locks me into this look mode, whereas in the original Spyro, I would have to hold that down if I wanted to stay in the look mode. And basically, like, I could just tap tap triangle to get Spyro repositioned, and then he would be back like this again. And for me, I don't like how they lock me into this look mode, and then I have to press triangle again to get out of it, because it slows down my combat, like, because, like, sometimes I need, like, if I'm, like, fighting an enemy and I get turned around and he's, like, behind me, and I just want to, like, quickly snap my direction to, like, face him, I don't want to have to press triangle again and be locked stationary like this. So I think Reignited Trilogy kind of dropped the ball with that. But But like say for this, like that encounter just now, I would have liked to have snapped my camera so I could reposition myself really quickly so I can get my next attack in. But I just don't like how they lock me into this. But I don't know. Yeah, I know they're not dead. I know that, because say for instance, Beanox, who developed CTR Nitro Fueled, they did an entire Call of Duty game on their own. They did Call of Duty Black Ops 4. So they were like a full-on studio, and they still were able to get CTR in. So like, Toys for Bob being a support studio for Call of Duty Warzone, not even being like the main developer, that's not the end of the world. That just honestly, that just means that that it's just gonna take a little bit more time, and I can wait, honestly, because like I said in like a couple episodes ago on Killzone, I said 2020 gave us Tony Hawk 1+2 and Crash 4, so I can wait a little bit. Like, for them to not release anything in 2021, I'll let that pass. But 2022, something has to happen. I'm hoping that at the Game Awards, we get... Because it's supposed to be rumored that Tony Hawk 3... At least Tony Hawk 3 remake is going to be made. I'm hoping it's Tony Hawk 3+4. But I know for a fact that there was one of the drummers, Jess Margera, who's Bam Margera's brother, kind of released, made like a slip on a podcast that he's like, oh yeah, my song... Because he's in CKY, the band. He said, oh yeah, our song is going to be featured in the next Tony Hawk game, and there's never been an official announcement of a Tony Hawk game, especially since Vicarious Visions, is a part of Blizzard now. But that makes sense because there was... I'll let him speak.
Spyro, my friend, how about a hint on gliding?
You bet.
For the longest glide, press the jump button at the top of your jump. And try pressing the action button to drop down mid-flight.
Sounds good. But yeah, what I was saying was, the band CKY is actually in the soundtrack of the original Tony Hawk 3, so it makes sense that the next Tony Hawk game would be another remake. And I hope that's the case. I hope that's something that also gets revealed at the Game Awards. When it comes to Wumpa League, I can wait. I don't really need Wumpa League right now, but right now I honestly would rather the first games to be revealed would be Spyro 4 or Tony Hawk 3+4, because I think we had the entire Crash trilogy, we had Crash Team Racing, and we had a brand new game. I feel like Spyro needs to take its turn, and I also just want Tony Hawk to get another game, remake game in. Let's get this egg thief. Now, when they revealed that you can go on this part of this world where you're like on top of the cliffs or whatever, it basically opened up my eyes to how big these games can get. Especially, what I really like, too, is it feels like it's endless, but then they have these pylons that, if this was like a typical like game that didn't really want to capture your imagination, they wouldn't put these structures here, and then this here, it would just be a random invisible wall, and it wouldn't make any sense. But I like that in-game they're explaining to you that there's a magic force field here, and it's being controlled by these things. And these were in the original game too. And that, I always liked that. I always liked that there was an explanation for why I can't keep going over here. And it wasn't just because, oh, this is the limitations of the PS1. Either Crash, Wumpa League, or Spyro 4 at the Game Awards. I mean, I know that Jeff Keighley, who hosts the Game Awards, he has a very good relationship with with revealing Crash Bandicoot. It seems that he's always the guy that does it. I don't know if he was the guy that did it for Spyro. Correct me if I'm wrong. I forget how Spyro Reignited Trilogy was announced, like where it was announced. But I'm not sure if it was at. I don't think it was at the Game Awards. I think it was at like a different showcase. Maybe it was E3. Maybe it was PSX. I'm not sure. Not PSX. It probably was like, I don't know. I forget what it was. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. I remember that. There was the purple egg, but when they actually released the trailer, I forget what, because they didn't just release the trailer like blindly. They kind of had like an award show, I think, right? Or no? Maybe I'm wrong. Here's a little castle we can go on. Like, there's so much to explore in this level. I like this one. Now, I wish we could get up here, but I think the original game made it so that there was more of a wall that you couldn't climb onto. Maybe the trailer just shadow dropped. Maybe. But I feel like I remember being like... I remember like anticipating it. Like it came out during like... I don't know, I'll have to look it up after I'm done. But it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility that Spyro would be revealed at the Game Awards too, because it's really this... It's this, you know, Activision is really what is keeping the glue together between the relationship between Jeff Keighley and like Crash or Spyro or whatever. And I know he has a really great relationship with the Tony Hawk games too. Like even the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5, which was an abysmal cash grab that Activision just did just to like finish the contract with Tony Hawk. That game I remember was presented at an E3, but it was like an E3 pre-show, and Jeff Keighley was the one who was kind of like interviewing Tony Hawk for that. And correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, it was Summer Game Fest, I think, where Tony Hawk was revealed, and Jeff Keighley was a part of that. So hopefully Tony Hawk can make an appearance at the Game Awards. Maybe Tony Hawk himself can show up on a skateboard, because I think it's going to be a live show again, now that COVID restrictions have loosened up. There's a life. Aster.
After you've freed all the dragons, pass through this fancy vortex thingamajigger. It'll take you back to the artisan home. But first, let me tell you a story.
No thanks. See ya!
Hehe. Alright, so here's a little... Now, we would have found this secret if I was on the edge of this up here. If I was on the cliff and I was like looking around. I think there's a way you can hear like a sound, but it took me a while in the original game to find this beach. And when you find it, it's kind of cool. Even though it's kind of stinks that Spyro can't swim yet, because it would have been cool to like play in the water, but I digress. And here's our key. Life's a beach. Until it isn't. Alright, there's our key. I think that should do it for our gems if I go back to that well. Now, another thing I don't really care for is what I used to do in the original game was I would do, when I would charge, I would do this kind of charge jump, and you would actually go faster if you did this. And I'm not sure if this is going faster than my regular run, but it feels like my regular run is much faster than doing this. But I know in the original game, if you do this, it was just more fun to do for me, and you were actually going faster, and it helps you later on, especially when you're like chasing like all the egg thieves and later on with Nasty Nork. But I don't know if they like nerfed that or something. Okay, so I did not collect all the gems yet. I'm guessing there's some in the grass that I did not collect. I'll have to like look at the perimeter here. Like I said, they might be a little well hidden in the grass. Let's see what's over here. Alright, I was here. My guess is that I have to go back up. Okay, so Hunter's voice in Reignited, I do not... It's... From what I believe, it's the same voice actor. It's Greg Berger, but he's doing a different take on Hunter's... Like, the way Hunter delivers his voice. I like Hunter's voice so much more in Spyro 2, the original Spyro 2, because it has this kind of like, hey Spyro, what are you doing? You want to come and help me out with this challenge? Like, he kind of had this like slow way of speaking, but not in a dumb way, kind of just in a like wow, you made the jump. That's really impressive. Like, there was something to it that was always very funny, and it's very subtle. It's very hard to pull off without sounding like you're an idiot. Because but now he just sounds like something like he's like a cereal mascot or something, like a Saturday morning cartoon where he's like, hey, like, let's grab our board and like you know, cowabunga, and like, you know, he's very like he's trying to be cool or something, and I don't really care for it. Let me see if I can find where I need to go. Is it this way? Was I just through this way? Alright, I need to be here. I think I need to... Let me check out the gems around here. I can use sparks to point to where the treasure is, but I don't want to do that, because in the original game that was not a feature. That's something that they just made for this game to kind of make it easier for newcomers. And honestly, I'd rather play it the way it was intended, the original game. Even though I'm sure that if Insomniac had the choice, they probably would make it a feature. But, yeah, he sounds like a surfer dude. He just sounds like someone... He reminds me of, like, when... what's it called? He reminds me of, like, when... Like the Cocoa Puffs bird. Not that I never ate Cocoa Puffs as a kid, but I remember the commercials, and it used to just be like a bird. But then like later on, like the 90s, like mid 90s, they made it like they gave him like a skateboard helmet, and he was like always like skateboarding, and like they were trying to make it like, oh, like look how cool this character is. And I'm just like, give me the original bird. Here we go. Here's a chest. Yeah, usually I miss gems in this outer part, and I like it because they're kind of scattered in random spots. It's not just like a random, like, up against the wall placement. It kind of allows you to kind of, like, explore more and kind of, like, look in the trees. I know, like, in the trees there's going to be, like, a red gem somewhere, maybe. Or a blue gem, maybe. Who's see? Yeah, I didn't care for Hunter, and like I could get used to it. I can like I'm still I at least like that they got the original voice actor, but I don't. Maybe it's the way he was directed to voice it now. Maybe they're like, hey, we need you to get this, reach this demographic of cool kids. Oh, here we are. There we go. All right, so maybe you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go into the flight level. This level, by the way, is something that you realize later on in the game. There's a dragon in the Magic Crafters world, like one of the levels, that will give you a hint on how to unlock this level in the Artisan's homeworld. But for now, because I know where it is, I'll just do it. It's basically just hopping on these stones in succession. And there you go. These levels usually take like a minute or so, so I'm sure I can get it done. Now these were fun to do for the trophy, I think, or for the skill point, because it was more of a time trial. Whereas, it's always a time trial, you're up against the time, but it's cool to figure out a faster way to go about it. I'm gonna go in here first. I'm gonna have to figure this out. Usually it takes me a couple of tries to figure out the pattern. So hopefully I'm not too slow. Alright, in Spyro 2 you get a supercharge when you get on the tracks. So that's not something that's in the original game. I figured maybe they would have included it, but I guess it makes sense because they don't want to make the time trials different than how they used to play in the original games. I know there's a skill point for doing like a loop-de-loop around one of the train tracks, but I'll just skip that. I don't think my time's going to be good here because I think it's the planes. That's probably where that's gonna, yeah. I guess I'll try. A lot of people make the mistake of trying to chase the planes from behind, where really the best strategy is to get it head on. Now, hopefully I can make it. I think I can. And there we go. Yeah, with the skill points, I liked it because it was just something new to do. I played these games to death as a kid, so like to have skill points available in the original game, because skill points come in 2 and 3. Like they were always in 2 and 3 in the original games. Okay, so I got all these. But for them to put them in Spyro 1, it was just a cool little thing to do. I don't think they're necessary though for completion. They were never necessary for completion in the original game either. I think all they did was unlock like the scrapbook, like more of the epilogue, like artwork or like kind of like a what happened to the characters type of thing. All right, so we got 3 levels done, and the homeworld. Not bad. 8 lives, no lives lost yet. But yeah, I also like how they singe the grass here whenever I flame. That's a cool new little addition. But yeah, I guess next time we will do. We're definitely gonna do this one. See where it is. Dark Hollow. A very atmospheric level, very atmospheric sounding level. Nighttime level. Alright. Pulpit Pig, it's been a pleasure. For anyone out there, if you want to take it upon yourself to like, comment, and subscribe, that'll be greatly appreciated. In the meantime, stay healthy, stay safe, keep a clear head and keep on gaming. And I'll catch you guys next time in our Spyro playthrough. Peace out.